I am Shelley Whizin, and I'm so excited to share excerpts from my new book, What Do You Bring to the Table? A savory, sensory, and inspirational guide to living a yummy, delicious life. And who doesn't want to live a yummy, delicious life? Melissa's has provided all the yummy, delicious ingredients that you are going to see in making these recipes today, and I feel so grateful and honored to be part of the Melissa's family. And I'm calling it a hybrid cookbook because it's a who you are while you're cooking cookbook. It's filled with spiritual life lessons mixed with happy, mindful meditations, simple and easy to make recipes, and ways of tapping into your own intuition through the experience of cooking. Yummy, delicious food is yummy, delicious. Let's get cooking. So hi everyone, I am Shelley Whizin. Welcome to my kitchen. And today I'm going to demonstrate two recipes from the book. So this recipe, look at all these beautiful ingredients. They are absolutely gorgeous. We are in fall, we are in autumn, and the autumn brings a sense of soup, don't you think? It's kind of like soup season. Some people say it's soup season. I particularly think that every season is soup season because I love to make soups no matter what season it is. Soups are a way of warming us. It's a way of putting everything in one pot, just kind of like our life, putting everything in one pot. We have 21 ingredients in this particular butternut squash ginger carrot instinct soup. Now, why do I call it an instinct soup? Because all these vegetables were taken from an instinct that I had looking at 5 different recipes. This ingredient said, I want to be in your soup. This ingredient said, I want to be in your soup. So every single one of these ingredients told me that they wanted to be in my soup. So I decided to combine 21 different ingredients to experiment and make a soup. And let me just tell you that it turned out delicious. So I am going to demonstrate how to make this butternut squash ginger carrot instinct soup. Now, for those of you who are watching from I don't know where are you watching from? I'm here in Sherman Oaks, California, and fall comes a little bit later because it's still 81 degrees outside. But again, it's still soup season. So let me tell you about the ingredients. You have room temperature butter. We're going to use about 2 tablespoons of that. We're going to use about 2 tablespoons of olive oil. And we're going to heat the pan, and I'm going to do that for you right now. I'm going to turn it on about high so that we can get the bottom of the pan very nice and warm, ready to receive the melted butter, room temperature butter, and the olive oil so that everything meets at the same level. How do you chop an onion? Well, the way I chop an onion is I cut it in half, and then I peel the peeling off of it until the very end. Then I make little slices inside the onion to the end that's still connected so it doesn't go all over the place. Then I use the knife and I chop, 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 chop. And then I'm able to just take the end piece that's all together and just make little chops and put that in there. And this is the result. Beautiful chopped onions. So I used 1 large onion. You can use however many onions you like, because guess what? When you make the soup, it's going to be your soup. Then I'm going to put the onions in, and for those of you who are in this room, you are going to smell the most delicious smells, because I'm going to add a half a teaspoon of turmeric, a teaspoon of yellow curry powder. You could put more turmeric or less turmeric. These are just the amounts that I use, but you can use whatever you want. And then cinnamon, a teaspoon of cinnamon. It adds a little interesting flavor to it. Ginger paste. I love ginger paste. You can buy them in the refrigerated part of the vegetable department in the supermarket. And then I have some Himalayan salt and a pinch of pepper, which we can use later on. I also chopped up a ginger. Now, how do you chop a ginger? I know for me, one of my most challenging things was peeling a piece of ginger with a knife or with a peeler because it has those little nubbies on it. So how do you peel a piece of ginger easily and effortlessly? You use a spoon. And you take it and you just gently remove the peel, and it's very, very easy. You can get around all those little bumps. And then you slice it nicely, and then chop, 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 chop. Use your chopping skills. It's really fun to chop things. It feels really good, and you just chop, 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 chop. So chopping a ginger, that was my challenge. What is your biggest challenge in the kitchen? Do you have something that challenges you when you're cooking or you're baking? I would love to hear what your challenges are. Mine was peeling ginger without cutting myself. That's the ginger. And then we're going to put in minced garlic. I think I put 3 tablespoons of garlic. Why? Because it's my favorite ingredient. What's your favorite ingredient? I love garlic. I love the smell of garlic. And in a moment, we're going to smell what that smells like. And this is better than bouillon chicken flavor. It's really, really yummy, delicious, and adds a great flavor. Makes it very flavorful. Brings out the flavors that are already in there. It's time to put the butter and the olive oil in the pan. You'll notice there are 3 pots on my stove, and I'm going to tell you about why in a minute. So the first thing I'm going to do is put 2 tablespoons about olive oil in the pan, and then about 2 tablespoons of room temperature butter. Now see, it's going to boil up. Then we mix that around, let it brown. It's kind of like turns into brown butter, kind of a feeling of roastedness. Then you're going to put the onions. I'm going to take my spurtle. You hear that crackling? Don't you love that sound? Yum. You know, we've been given 5 senses for a reason, and when we're cooking, we get to use all of them because we get to use our eyes for a treat to see these beautiful ingredients. We get to use our olfactory system so that we smell. Make sure that you smell everything. It smells so good already. I love the smell of onions cooking. And I love the smell of onions and garlic. So we're going to put in our garlic next. And see this little spurtle? This is a kitchen tool that my daughter turned me on to, which I love. Now, I don't know if you know what a spurtle is, but a spurtle is a kitchen tool from the 15th century in Scotland, where they used it to stir porridge and soup and stews and things like that. I have another one. You see, it's kind of like a spoon and a spatula got married. I like to use the one with the holes because when you're stirring it, it doesn't splatter. It just kind of goes right through it. You want to keep it on high so that the onions cook and they melt down just a little bit. They get kind of golden on the edges. And then we're going to put in the chopped up ginger. Now remember, the chopped up ginger just adds this aroma when you're cooking and another fragrance and another taste in your mouth. So with 21 ingredients, how could you not taste something different every single time? So what's your favorite kitchen tool? Do you have one? Mine's the spurtle. Look it up, S-P-U-R-T-L-E. I had no idea what this was until maybe a month ago. Then we're going to add in the spices. I'm going to put in the cinnamon. This is the turmeric. Turmeric's very good for your body, good for inflammation. And the yellow curry powder. Now, I use mild yellow curry powder because I'm not a spicy girl. I'm spicy in other ways, but not with food. Very good. See, look how easy this is. And then I'm going to put in the ginger paste. And then we're going to stir it around so that it doesn't get stuck on the pot, on the bottom of the pot. We pour that in. Life is short, guys. You want to make whatever you want to make in the best way you want to make it. And we know that everything is infused with love, so that's a good thing. Now, we're going to cook that for maybe another 3 minutes or so. So, meantime, tell me, what is it that you love to cook in your kitchen? And what essence do you love to bring to your life? Tell me what it is that you bring to the table of your life. And that's the most important part of life, is what we bring to the table, not what we get from life, but what we bring to the table. What I bring to the table makes me kind of cry a little bit. I bring a sense of love. My intention is always to bring honor and dignity and regard to life, and fun, lots of fun, adding humor to everything. I know when I take myself so seriously or so self-important, it just doesn't work. So let's check on this. Ooh, listen to that sound. And then you go, your hearing. You know, you've got your hearing going on. So you've got your sense of taste, your sense of hearing, your sense of smell, your sense of sight, and your sense of touch. Because when you touch an ingredient, it has a texture to it. It has something that you can feel that's a beautiful texture. So it's important to use all your 5 senses when you're cooking in the kitchen. Listen to that. Ooh, can you smell it, everybody? It smells so good in here. Okay, now we're going to add in our squash. So we've already chopped up the squash. What we've done is I've chopped up the ends of each side of the butternut squash. Then cut it in half. Take out the seeds with a spoon. They're not too hard. Just take out the seeds and throw them away. You can make your own butternut squash dried seeds if you clean them out, roast them, do all that kind of stuff. But I'm not going to do that today. What I did do is chop up the squash. So chopped it up, I scooped out the seeds, I threw them away, and then I chopped it up, and look at how it came out. And you peel it and you chop it. Melissa's gave me another way. If you only have like 15, 20 minutes, look at what Melissa's product has. And we're going to add this to this soup. So we're going to double up the squash that I'm asking for, because look at what Melissa's has. It's an already steamed, ready to eat squash. So you can put it in your soup and it will cut the cooking time in half. So we're going to put the squash in. See? Stir it around. So all the butternut squash gets covered in the onions and the turmeric and the curry. Yum, and it's beautiful. And now, this is a sweet potato. I used 1 large sweet potato. But again, you can use whatever you want, however much you want. There's something about a root vegetable that kind of grounds us. So I like to add a root vegetable into the soup. And all you have to do is peel it, chop it up, and then it turns out looking as beautiful as this. So I'm going to add that into the soup. See? There you go. And then the next thing I'm going to add is carrots. Again, you peel a carrot, you know how to peel a carrot. Everything is provided by Melissa's Produce, which I have to tell you, they're the best. The energy from the fruit, the vegetables, anything they send me always carries a fresh, live energy. And I'm an energy person, so I love that fresh, live energy goes into making everything that I make. So I'm going to add the carrots, and then I just have to say that making food to me is one of my biggest passions, and the book actually connects 2 of my favorite passions, and that's cooking, and it's diving into the human spiritual relationship, which I just absolutely love to do and could probably talk about it forever. I'm going to stir this up. If you could see, I don't know if you can see how beautiful these vegetables look. They're all getting coated so nicely. And I am going to add the apples. My favorite way to core an apple is peel it and then just cut the core out of it. all around it, and then it's cored. How can this soup go wrong with all these beautiful ingredients in it? And then we stir. So I told you that there were 3 pots on my stove. Why? This is a butternut squash soup that I've already made that's ready to show you how to blend it. So that's what this is, ready to go into the blender. This pot is my favorite pot to cook in. Why? Because when I make a soup, when I go to the market and I say, okay, vegetables, which one of you want to be in my soup? And they tell me, I make it this big. I make this much soup. And then what I do, which I love to do, is I put them in containers. But I usually have a label that goes on the name of the soup and the date of the soup, and I put it in the freezer so that I can give away the soup. My friend, one of my friends calls me, what did she say? The Queen Soup Mama. Because I love making instinct soups and I love giving it away. I love feeding people. When you put everything in, by the time you put everything in with the broth, we're going to use chicken broth, we're going to use maple syrup, we're going to use the chicken bouillon, we're going to use a little pinch of salt and a little pinch of pepper, and we're going to use some orange juice. After you pour the chicken broth over the vegetables, just covering them, then it's going to simmer or cook for about 35 minutes. So we don't really have 35 minutes to wait, so we did the Cliff Notes version of the butternut squash, and we made it previously so that it's ready to go into the blender so you don't have to wait and sit here for 35 minutes. So anyway, it's ready. Look, all these vegetables are brewing, they're searing inside the pot, and now what we're going to do is we're going to pour 1 container or 32 ounces of chicken stock into, I'm going to put it up a little bit higher. Watch the steam, watch the steam. Oh, it didn't even steam up. I thought it was going to steam up a whole lot. I prepared you for something that didn't even happen. Yeah, that's about right. So you want to cover the vegetables just enough so that the soup covers the vegetables, and then they're going to simmer. Now I'm going to put in the Better Than Bouillon broth. It's bubbling up, so everything is cooking, it's melting with each other, they're all connecting. One of the things about soups is that you take different ingredients and you put them all together. You could even take different human beings and put them all together, and we make a quantum soup because each one of us are different. And so the book is kind of interesting because it's a hybrid cookbook where I write about life and human spiritual dynamic and energy and what you bring to the table, what we bring to the table, taking responsibility for ourselves, taking a breath, taking time out, getting centered, and then making a yummy, delicious soup. So now we're going to add in the maple syrup, you see, and that adds a little sweetness to it. In my book, I've dedicated 5 recipes to my family. So I hope you enjoy the book and enjoy making the recipes. And here we're pouring in the orange juice that we squeezed before. And we're going to make it a stir. Melissa's sent me this gorgeous squash. I'm going to add the squash, so we're going to double the squash. We're going to double the squash in this just for the fun of it, see what it turns out. And look at this beautiful, already steamed, ready-to-eat squash. And as I said, it can cut it down, way down your time. But everything else is cooking, and this is going to make it even more creamy. So here, we just pull it out in there, and we put it in there like that. We make it. I love my family. I love cooking for my family. I love cooking for my friends. I just love cooking. For me, it's a way of sharing my love. So when I cook in this big pot, which is pretty big, and I divide it up into portions, then I get to give them away. And that to me is my favorite thing. In fact, before my dad died, he said, Shelley, who's going to feed the children? So he knows how much I love to eat, and I love to feed, and I love to cook. So I want to feed the children. I don't want to feed you. I want to feed everybody. If you ever come to an event that I have, believe me when I tell you there's going to be food, no matter what. Because there's something, even if you do a spiritual class, there's something in smelling food as you're doing spiritual work, because it grounds you and it deepens you and it enhances your state of mind and your state of being. Here's the soup, and we're going to be putting it on simmer for 25-30 minutes. Turn it down a little bit, and that's going to do its thing. We are going to go over here to this already done soup, butternut squash soup, and we are going to stir it up. So the second part of this soup is to blend it. Now, I know for me, I like to keep chunks in the soup when you blend something, because every bite then you get a little flavor. You get a little extra flavor. Some people like to do it all creamy. Do it the way you want to do it. Use your instincts. Let the vegetables, let the ingredients, let the spices talk to you. Let them come to you and say, I want to be in your soup. And you're going to see that you're going to make some kind of magical creations that you didn't even think of before, because you are using your own intuition. And that's what's really important here. So what we're going to do is I'm going to ladle out half of this butternut squash soup. You see, it's already done. It's beautiful. And when you blend it in a blender, you have to be very careful, because if it's hot and you don't let the air out a little bit, then it could explode and splatter, and you don't want that to happen. So this is about half of what's in this pot. I'm going to leave the rest in chunks because it's good that way. You see, so it's in the blender, and we're going to put this on. I'm going to put it on soup, and I'm going to crack the lid just a little bit. That's good. So when you blend it, you don't have to blend it all the way, but you can blend it as much as you like it to be creamy. And you, again, we took that top off, but look, you can see the steam from it, and you can see how creamy it is and the color of it, because it blends all the colors. And you pour it back in the pot. You take your spurtle, this beautiful spurtle, and you empty the whole thing into the pot. And now all I need to do is put it in a bowl and put the garnish on the top. So we just finished blending, and we put it back into the pot. And as you can see, there are chunks of squash and carrots and potatoes and all of those into this soup, so that it feels very grounding. It's bodied soup because you get to take a bite out of something. Sometimes pureed soups may not be entirely satisfying because you want to chew on something. So this is a way to help you chew on something. Oh, first we have to garnish it. So then we use the cilantro. We put a few sprigs on the top. I love cilantro. I don't know about you, but I love cilantro. And then you can put a few of these roasted pumpkin seeds around, like that, and then taste it, the best part. So let's see what happens to this instinct soup. Yum! Ooh, and the nuts add just a nice crunch factor. I hope you enjoyed the butternut squash ginger carrot instinct soup. And next we are going to show you how to make Mike's Mighty Mediterranean chopped salad with a twist. Mike's Mighty Mediterranean Salad, and I call it with a twist because we've added some crunch factor into the salad. And before we begin, I would like to take just a moment, and it's something that I offer you in the book, to take a moment for yourself, to bring the essence of what you bring into your experience, especially cooking, because energy is very important, as we all know. And so we are going to bring in an energy of love. Bringing the energy of love into everything you do just saturates everything you do with love. So that's what we're going to do. So what I did first was I chopped the salad. I took 2 heads of romaine lettuce from Melissa's, of course, because they have the best produce in the world. And I chopped it up into about a 1/2 inch, a little bit, maybe a little over an inch, small pieces, so that you can get a lot of pieces in one bite in your mouth. And then I went ahead and I chopped up these cucumbers, 10 Persian cucumbers from Melissa's that are gorgeous. They come in a package. And I chopped those up. And so you can see they're just chopped up like in little quarter pieces, and we're going to add those to the salad. So we're just going to throw all of those in there like that. And then what we're going to do is we're going to add the tomatoes that I've chopped. So I've chopped 2 packs. Melissa's offers 2 packs of cherry tomatoes, organic, that are about this size. And so that's what I use, 2 packs of organic tomatoes from Melissa's. And we're going to add that into the salad. So right now you see it looks like a beautiful layer. Look at how beautiful that is. You can really serve a lot more people about that, and it's very yummy, delicious. Now, cilantro is one of my favorite things to chop. Why? Because it's like scissors. I found this technique, and it kind of reminds me of what they do at Benihana. You know how they go like this and they throw the eggs up and they do the volcano and they make it steam. So I like to chop up cilantro because it's fun. So that's why I like it, and we're going to add the cilantro to this mix. What we're going to do next, so look at this. We have all these beautiful spices. We have the juice of 3 lemons that I juiced. I worked out my arm, juiced it on this juicer, and we're going to pour in this lemon juice to make it very juicy. It's fragrant. You can, nothing like smelling citrus. Citrus smells so fresh. I don't know if you think so, but I sure do. And I bought this little handy dandy olive oil container, and it's kind of fun. You see it opens up. Look how it opens up. And we're going to pour about 2 tablespoons of olive oil in there, or a little more depending. And then we're going to add the everything but the bagel seasoning, of course, along with some salt. We're going to add a pinch of pepper. Now, I don't usually use pepper, but a pinch doesn't hurt. And then we're going to add a teaspoon of garlic powder. And then we're going to add sesame seeds, 1 tablespoon of sesame seeds. Look at this crunch factor. And seeds like this, super seeds, and these are chia seeds. They're all very high in omega-3s, high in zinc, high in magnesium. So it's a very healthy salad. Then for the crunch factor, I love almonds, especially chopped almonds, roasted almonds in my salad. So look, this is the way it looks this way. You can always add more almonds if you want, of course. So I'm going to take my little hands, which I got in Tahiti, my travels, and I'm going to start mixing this salad. Now you can see there's a lot of salad. So you can feed, feeds a family of 4 to 6, but I think you can even get more out of this salad. And don't be afraid to put it in a container and either give it away or eat it the next day. It will stay for a day or so it won't get too soggy. So you just mix it up. One of the reasons I love making salads in our family is my family is a very sporty family. My daughter and my son-in-law met in high school, and he was a baseball player and he was a pitcher. And they've been friends ever since, and they got married. So they've been childhood sweethearts since they were about 14 years old. My grandchildren are now 14 years old, and we look at them and we go, oh my God, they were that age when they met. So we're all like, oh my God, isn't that fantastic? And they're all into sports. Each and every one of them are into sports. Zoe, the 10-year-old, she's into soccer. Jordan's into soccer. She's 14. Jake's 14. Jake is into baseball. He loves basketball. He loves football. Oh, I just love my family so much. Just love them so much. My son-in-law is a fine human being. I feel blessed to have him as a son-in-law. My daughters were resourceful and thoughtful and loving. And I feel blessed with my family. So I love serving them this beautiful salad, and they love it too. They love the crunch factor, and they love everything about it. And so look at this. Isn't that gorgeous? This looks fabulous. Look at that. Oh my God, it's shiny and fresh, and I sure hope you're going to enjoy it as much as I will. And right now, I'm going to give myself a little bit of this salad. I'm going to taste it because I have a feeling it's going to be what? Right, yummy delicious. So I'm going to taste it right now and let you know. I'm going to get a tomato, a cucumber, and a piece of lettuce. It is yummy delicious. Well, thank you for spending this time with me in the kitchen. We've made my 2 favorite recipes from my book, What Do You Bring to the Table? We've combined 2 favorite activities, cooking and soul diving into the human relationship, using food as the analogy for life. We hope it's inspiring to you in what you bring to the table of your life. Love is the essential essence, so remember to bring love into everything you do. Love you, Melissas, and thank you so much for this wonderful opportunity. I hope you've enjoyed this journey we've had together. You can find my cooking recipes and recipes for life in my book on Amazon.